In healthcare, the pace can feel relentless, and the pressure never fully lets go. That's where Corey began, exhausted but stubbornly determined to find a better way. He remembers 12-hour shifts where compassion stayed high, even as energy ran low. And he realized peace isn't a fantasy, it's a skill you can rebuild over time. Burnout, he learned, isn't weak willpower. It's a leadership moment asking for change. So the first step became permission. Caring for yourself is part of caring for others. He kept that reminder close because the hardest lessons fade when the day gets loud. Because without balance, the corridor speed follows you home and into your sleep. When Corey started sharing this, people leaned in because they were living it too. One nurse showed him the cost, not just tiredness, but the feeling of disappearing. But even then, a small window of hope can reopen the story you think is fixed. Corey urged teams to practice self-care together so no one had to do it alone. He kept repeating one truth: the story you tell yourself shapes what you can survive. Journaling helped because it turns vague dread into words you can challenge. With time, the mind can settle, like waves that stop fighting the shore. And whenever a harsh thought appeared, he'd ask, "Is this actually true?" Even 60 seconds of stillness can interrupt the spiral and give you control back. He also insisted life outside the hospital matters because it refuels the work inside. Soon, his workshops felt less like lectures and more like permission to practice again. The goal wasn't escaping the ward. It was finding calm inside the same day. And community mattered. A shared laugh can loosen knots that therapy never reaches. Underneath it all, the brain can relearn safety when you feed it better narratives. For Corey, that meant walking forward even when the path felt uncertain and quiet. He kept coming back to one principle: lead yourself first and the rest follows. Then he offered tools, simple, practical resets that work even in the middle of chaos. Even a quiet cup of tea can be a boundary that says, "I still belong to me." Connection helped too, because support can arrive in a sentence at the right time. He reminded them the world is wider than one unit, one shift, one hard season. Back at his desk, Corey wrote and rewrote his ideas until they felt usable on Monday. The practice was simple: breathe, notice, and choose the next right thought. When people practiced together, the room changed. Less performance, more presence. By the end, Corey didn't promise an easy job, only a steadier way to meet it. And slowly, faces softened as people remembered why they chose this work at all. Because self-leadership isn't a finish line, it's a daily decision you keep renewing. Even the city can teach it. Chaos passes, and quiet returns if you let it. And in hospitals everywhere, small circles of honesty began building real resilience. It starts the same way every time: a new morning and one better choice. So if you're worn down, remember this: the leader you need is already in you. Corey's message ends with hope. You can change your life one breath at a time.